Hello and welcome back to the Unqualified Minds Leadership Training. Today we will be looking at squad leading. I am also joined today by another experienced leader in the battlefield of ArmA 3, Shafira Panda.
Hello, I'm Shafira Panda and I'll be explaining the tactics of squad leading. Today we are going to go over these topics: planning, map terminology, assault and defense tactics, rules of engagements, radios, communication, and asking for a sitrep. This will be a lot of information. Use the chapters to go back to a topic if you want to have a second look or to get a quick overview of this video. The first thing you do as a leader when you join an operation is get a brief from the mission maker with your fellow leaders. You will be talking about what the intent of the player experiences and how the mission maker and leadership together will realize this idea. This part of the operation is the most important for your leader, as you get to know your fellow leaders and the mission maker's intent. You will also know how many people you'll be playing with. Together with this information, you can start setting up the layout of the squads and teams. The leadership layout for a squad will look something like this. You are here, you lead the entire squad and will take orders from the platoon leader or the mission maker directly. This all depends on the size of the operation. Mission maker's intent can vary a lot depending on the mission maker. It should always be the explanation of the general idea for the operation. Maybe some boundaries are set up for the players because of a few scripted events, or because the zombies in the missions can actually infect and kill you. Mission maker's intent is how the mission maker envisions the operation, and as they were the one to make the operation, mission maker's intent should be respected. However, if the mission maker's intent compromises the fun or morale of the players, it should be adjusted accordingly. Feel free to discuss this with the mission maker. The amount of people playing the operation can really change how it's played. The fewer people you have, the lesser amount of support elements you will have. This means you will have no APC, artillery or cast to cover you, but this can also mean you don't have a secondary squad to rely on when you expect it. Plan according to the player count. There are plenty of types of objectives other than assault and defense. Listen to the mission maker's explanation of these objectives and start forming a plan in your head about how you as a squad leader would complete these objectives. The playstyle of the operation will differ a lot as well and will dictate if we play casually, semi-serious or serious. The casual playstyle is paired with simple objectives and is used for things like fun ops or operations where everybody gets to play as a space marine on a power trip. Try not to micromanage these operations too much, as they are about letting loose and having casual fun. Semi-serious is the most common and should be viewed as the standard playstyle. It comprises everything you have learned in these leadership videos. Try and apply as much of the knowledge and tools that we have given you in these training videos, and don't be afraid to trust your leadership instinct. A serious playstyle indicates everything the semi-serious style of play has, but adds a difficulty factor into it, like a tough mission failure condition, or it could be a one-life operation. Try to lead these operations with caution, as one wrong choice can lead to your squad's demise. Identifying enemies and getting proper identification of enemies before firing can be crucial to the success of the objective. The mission maker is encouraged to give you a clear description of the enemies and possibly their capabilities. This makes planning and leading a more smooth experience. What gear you will be using to combat the enemy can be important to understanding your capabilities. Try and understand what your max capacity is, given the weapons, equipment and camouflage given, and limit yourself to planning decisions that won't have you overextended on the battlefield. Supporting elements are great for when you are in a pinch on the battlefield, but understanding what they are and what they are capable of can be crucial to using them effectively. Resupply of any kind will be required throughout most operations, and understanding the means of delivery is quite important to planning efficiently and getting on the move after a resupply as soon as you can. Resupply can be dropped via a Zeus module, friendly helicopter or plane, or even given to you at the start of the operation and loaded into your ace cargo slot of the ground vehicles. Learning about the method of reinserting from the mission maker is important for the briefing you are going to be given your squad afterwards. Try and understand the difference between the standard selective respawn position a 3 rally points, or a only base respawn where a player-controlled transport helicopter takes them back to the battlefield. Be sure to brief your squad on which one it is after briefing to ensure everybody knows what to do when they respawn. After you have collected all this information, you will need to start planning for your objectives. Your role involves leading the entire squad and occasionally taking on the role of the primary leader during operations. In smaller operations, a significant part of your responsibility is to ensure that members under your supervision have an enjoyable experience. This is because you determine the methods and timings for the actions carried out by the players within your squad. Now, let's talk about proactive and passive leadership approaches. Both impact mission success, especially in ambush scenarios. The proactive leader has initiative, anticipates challenges, and plans ahead to mitigate risks. Picture it like this. Imagine a squad leader who studies the terrain, gathers intel on enemy positions, and forms a comprehensive plan against ambushes. They're ready, and as the enemy attacks, the squad reacts, turning the situation in their favor. On the flip side, the passive leader reacts to situations as they arise, lacking in-depth planning. Consider this. Think of a leader who enters the town without prep and falls into an ambush. The squad's response is chaotic due to unpreparedness, resulting in potential casualties. In summary, proactive leaders anticipate challenges, while passive leaders react. Proactive leadership sets up for success, while passive leadership can lead to chaos. After choosing how you would want to lead, we can start looking at how to plan the operation with each objective. You're not prepared to make a battle plan for your squad, but only if the operation skill calls for no more than 2 squads, eliminating the need for a platoon leader. As you begin to formulate your plans, it's essential to gather input from your team leaders and even members of your squad. This approach ensures that both team leaders and squad members are actively engaged and well informed about the plan. Let's start by learning what we can put on the map and how to communicate more effectively via the map drawings and markers. When you mark something, whether that be for planning or intel, always use the appropriate markers to ensure the most clarity with just a glance at the map screen. Also remember, you hold Ctrl to draw and Shift Ctrl to draw a straight line. Draw arrows or position points you want your troops to move to or from, and be sure to name everything properly. Now let's get into some map terminology. Let's start with bases of fire. A base of fire is a supporting force that provides an overwatch position and covering fire to other advancing units while they are executing assault orders. Proven routes are great for always securing a safe route back, but do not forget you are still in enemy territory. It may not be 100% safe, but it's the safest bet at getting back to base. Proven routes can be roads you mark on the map when you already used the road to safely get into the area of operation. This is a great marker to learn and can be especially useful when traversing roads with mines or IEDs. Always mark a proven road to ensure a safer retreat. When marking the landing zone or disembark point for your transport, always ensure you have one desired location marker and one backup marker marked on the map in case of what they would call a hot LZ. We recommend doing this on a per objective basis. This allows you to fall back to your backup point as soon as you take contact at your original point, securing a safer drop-off point for your transport vehicle and your squad. Let's learn some assault tactics. Let's start by emphasizing how important the element of surprise is. The element of surprise is your most important tool to understand before doing an assault. The enemy does not know you are there, and this allows you to plan ahead. Do recon and set up bases of fire. Do not forget this and use it to your advantage. Once you lose the element of surprise, a battle becomes a lot harder. While within enemy territory, the advice always keep moving is generally speaking pretty good advice. It's about the fact that staying in one place for too long can increase your vulnerability to attack and make you an easier target. Continuous movement can make it harder for the enemy to predict your position and battle plan, making it more challenging for them to track you down and engage. Focusing your assault on one single point of attack is never smart. Hence, we suggest you using flanking tactics wherever you can. If you have two teams, then making them assault from two sides, then confuse and split the enemy force. It also includes armed transport vehicles or other supportive elements. Position your friendly forces so that it becomes advantage for you and your allies. When clearing a big area like a town, big military base or anything similar, we recommend using sector planning to your advantage. You can mark out sectors on a town for each team, and when a team has cleared these sectors, they can be marked off so it's clear they are done with that sector and it's declared cleared. This works great because just by using a few map markers, you ensure everyone knows what's going on and what they need to be doing. It's safe and efficient. Let's go over some defense tactics. Think of pulling security and building fortifications. When doing any type of defense, the first step would be to pull security, as we call it. This means to set up defenses in the direction of any potential attackers. Pulling security can be used at any time if you need to hold, whether that is to defend a base, waiting after dismounting a vehicle, or downloading data from a terminal. If possible, you always want to fortify your position when it's possible to do so, or when the current defensive position is not defendable due to lack of hard cover. We recommend building trenches or using the A3 Fortify tool when provided. Try and combine all these techniques to draw out an easy to understand battle plan on the map, and be sure to adjust and redraw this plan as the operation goes on, as you will need to be able to adapt the plan at any given point. We have already talked about rules of engagement in the previous video, but it's important you still remember what rules of engagement are and keep them in mind when running for squad leader in an operation. It is important to know that sometimes the mission maker won't set a rule of engagement, but you may want to set one for yourself to fulfill the conditions your plan needs to succeed. Communication becomes even more crucial here. Let's get into it with radio protocol. Radio protocol is a set of rules we follow when doing radio communications, most frequently seen on the long-range net. This network is shared by the AN/PRC-152 and the AN/PRC-170F radio. The basic radio protocol for radio traffic would look something like this. This is Alpha to Bravo. Next we say what we want to contact them about. Message refers to a basic message or intel callout. Sitrep refers to requesting a situation report from the contact individual and their team. Requesting fire support refers to asking for fire support from a CAS or artillery element. We will recommend watching the JTAC training for more on this topic. Before we show you a simple interaction, here's something useful for when you engage with a radio network. Saying break. Saying break once can be a good way to let the receiving end know that your message is long and you are pausing during your messaging and aren't done yet. Use this when the message is long, it's multiple messages, or something interrupts the message broadcasting. In the event you are interrupted and cannot transmit for a while, be sure to say standby to indicate a longer pause. A simple interaction would look something like this. This is Alpha to Bravo message.
This is Bravo, send message.
Bravo, you have a tank moving up to your position bearing 270 due west.
Copy that, Alpha. Sending our anti-tank team to deal with it. Over.
Remember that communicating key information up the chain of command is very important. Make sure that the correct type of information ends up with the element that can work with the information provided. So if you need immediate close air support, don't ask another squad if they also need close air support. Try to directly contact the close air support element. This is granted there are no JTACs in your squad who should be the only one in the direct contact with them already. Pre-Firefight and Post-Sitrep are a topic that we have already covered, but we want you to shift perspective now. Ask your team leaders for a Sitrep after a fight. This should include the Post-Sitrep. You should then know if you need to call for resupply and replenishments. Make sure your team and the team leaders are all ready to go before and after each engagement. Thank you for watching the Unqualified Minds leadership training. We hope you learned something new about squad leading. Remember to use the proper map markings, plan ahead of time and take care of your squad. Ensure people are having a fun time and your plan will surely succeed. Now go out there and lead your troops.